Hi guys, welcome to Coturnix Corner. My name's Terry, and in this video I wanted to share with you a brief live that my friend Allie from Maine's Confetti Quail Farm, she did as a follow-up of a few questions that were asked on our Coturnix Corner live show that Allie joined me on last week. Allie has a really good understanding of genetics, and in this live that she did, she kind of expanded on some of the questions that were asked of her. I know a lot of people are wondering why when they order hatching eggs, they're getting multiple colors or multiple varieties hatch out when they only ordered, say, jumbo wilds. Allie kind of goes into why that might happen and when it's okay, when it's not okay. So let's go ahead. I'm going to turn it over to Allie, and we'll catch you at the other end of this video.
I went live with Terry last Tuesday, and we talked about color genetics, some basic questions that you guys had. But there was a topic or a question that came up regarding breeding true, and the question wasn't exactly what I'm going to cover today, but it prompted this video. I think breeding true, hatching true, those are terms that are thrown around a lot in a way that may be confusing for people who are trying to start breeding their own stock and trying to be intentional with what they're breeding to produce what. So I want to talk about what breeding true is, or what hatching true is, as far as I see it. That's an opinion-based thing, I guess, but my view on that. And I'm going to go over a list of some of the more common mutations that do or should breed true, hatch true. So I have an introduction post to this that I put up in the Coturnix Corner group. So if you've seen that, this is just to expand on that. Basically, breeding true, hatching true means that you can breed two birds together of the same mutation or same variety and expect to get 100% of that offspring to look just like the parents. That's what I think breeding true is, and what I think the term should mean. A lot of the general videos that are up that people talk when they talk about breeding true, they'll say things like 80% breeds true, 20% does not breed true. That was a source of a lot of confusion for me personally when I started out, because I thought that those numbers or those percentages was a normal occurrence. I didn't know anything really about how the genetics works. I just thought, oh, well, maybe that's just how it's supposed to be. If I get 80% of something and 20% of something else, that's just how it is. And that's how lines work. And there's always going to be these additional genes that pop up just because of past breeding, things that you can never get out of that line. And that's actually not accurate. And there are things that we can do if you feel like you want to. There's steps that you can take to test breed and make sure that the stock that you're working with does breed true if it's one of those mutations that should. So some of the mutations, well, actually, I'll just go over one of the key things that I put here for why breeding true is something that some people will set a goal for. And what it does, it creates consistency within your flock. So if you're breeding just for yourself and it's just a hobby project, you're probably not going to be very concerned about it. The reason why I am concerned about it is because I want to be able to market one of my lines, or all of my lines preferably, as lines that offer specific results when they're in homozygous form. So if I were to offer hatching eggs for, let's say, Manchurians, I want my customers to receive their eggs, to incubate their eggs, and then see 100% Manchurians in their incubator. So what they order is what they get, and it's what they expect. So a lot of times when we have lines to work on, they come with those genes that we need to perfect. We need to clean lines up. So honestly, most of my lines are not at that point where they breed true right now. The most important line, I think, that should always breed true is Pharaoh, because Pharaoh is one of your main feather sexable colors or plumage varieties, and it's the foundation of what you're working with when you're doing any kind of color breeding projects or color testing, things like that. If you have mixed genes that are popping up within your Pharaoh line, that's going to be something that will continue on if you don't really take care of it. So that is the first variety that I would say should absolutely breed true. If it does not breed true and you have 10%, 20% of something popping out, commonly it's dotted white, because dotted white in a heterozygous form can be kind of tricky to see on Pharaohs. Most of the time it's just a little white spot on the bib or a white spot on the chest, or you might see some primary feathers that are white. But that's usually what you'll see that is popping out of your Pharaoh line if it has not been cleaned up fully. And the reason for that is Pharaohs, when people buy Pharaohs, typically within the United States, it's a jumbo line. Hi, Dale. And those Pharaohs have been crossed with other jumbo lines like Texas A&M, for example, like those English white birds, to increase the size on those Pharaohs. That's why we can see those residual genes in there. And that's why those particular ones are common. But the next variety that can 100% breed true is Manchurian, because Manchurian is homozygous for fawn. So homozygous fawn parent to homozygous fawn parent will always produce 100% homozygous offspring of the fawn gene or whatever gene that you're working with. Tibetan is another one. Again, homozygous for extended brown, produces 100% or should produce 100% Tibetan. Range, Egyptian, Egyptian Phi, Amber Manchurian, Sandy, Sandy Pharaoh, or Sandy on EB, Sandy Pharaoh, Fab Phi, Pearl Phi. There's a really big list here. Just to give you a couple more though. Homozygous Calico, English White, homozygous White-winged Pied, Rotkoff, Pansy Phi, Red Pansy, homozygous Blue, which looks white, homozygous Lavender on Pharaoh, and Aussie Snowy, if you're in Australia. That's another one. So there are some varieties that you will never ever get to breed true. And those are varieties that include parents that have a combination of genetics that are heterozygous for a certain mutation. So an example of that would be Italian. Italians are heterozygous for fawn. That's what they are. That's what the variety is. Heterozygous for fawn, and it's on a wild type. It's crossed with wild type, and that's what you get. The reason why you will not get an Italian line that hatches true is because each of those parents, if you put Italian to Italian, you have one copy of fawn in each one of those birds. The babies are going to grab one copy of something from mom, one copy of something from dad. With that combination there, that baby has the opportunity to grab 2 copies of fawn and be Manchurian. It has the opportunity to grab 2 copies of wild and be Pharaoh. It also has the opportunity to grab 1 copy of fawn from mom or dad, and then just the wild, no fawn from mom or dad, and that would produce an Italian. So if you're breeding Italian to Italian, you're actually getting Pharaoh, Italian, and Manchurian babies from that cross, and that's how it should be. Let's see. There is another spin on things, and it is you can put a breeding group together of 2 different varieties and be able to produce 100% of a certain type of variety for the offspring. So this I don't think would really count as a breeding true because the babies aren't going to look exactly like the parents, but you are producing 100% babies looking all the same. Hello, tuxedo. Exactly. Dale knew where I was going with that. Yes, tuxedo. So to give you an example of this, if you guys were to order tuxedo eggs from someone, this is how you would set up this breeding group. You would have homozygous dotted white or English white and homozygous Tibetan, for example, if we're doing the common tuxedo. What that would produce is a baby in between. Since you have two homozygous parents that they're homozygous for two different mutations, those babies all have to grab one copy of what this bird is homozygous for, and then one copy of what this bird is homozygous for, and they're going to end up being that same combination because there's only an option for one thing from each parent. So for example, if you have English white moms, that baby is going to grab one copy of her dotted white. Okay, so it has one copy of dotted white, and then that baby is also going to grab one copy of extended brown from dad because he only has extended brown, 2 copies of extended brown. So that baby is going to end up with one copy of extended brown and one copy of dotted white, and 100% of those babies are going to be Rosetta tuxedos because Rosetta is heterozygous for extended brown and heterozygous for dotted white. All of those babies should look the same. So if you are working with mutations that fall in between other mutations, you can set up certain breeding projects that will produce 100% of a certain thing, depending on what genetics you're working with. But you have to start with something different, okay? So tuxedo to tuxedo, for example, is not going to give you 100% tuxedos. It's going to do the same thing. Those babies are going to grab something, and they're going to be whatever combination they end up being, not all the same with each other. Hi, David. Hi. So I think I covered mainly what I wanted to cover as far as what breeding true means. If you have any questions about it, let me know in the comments. I don't think I see any questions so far. So this is something just to kind of keep in mind. When you are looking into a bloodline, if you're looking into getting hatching eggs from someone, just make sure that you have that conversation with your breeder so you know what to expect. Because if you purchase something and you're thinking that it's going to be one thing and then you end up with a bunch of stuff, that can be something that will set you back if color breeding is one of your goals. Okay, so I hope that kind of helped clear up any questions or misconceptions that you may have had about colors that breed true. Allie does a wonderful job. She has an excellent understanding of quail genetics, and I really appreciate her coming on the show and talking with you guys about what she's learned about quail genetics and whatnot. So guys, I want to thank you for joining me today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so. It helps me out and you'll get notified of any new and upcoming content if you hit that notification bell. So guys, we will see you on the next one, and thanks for joining me today.